The Weekly Podioplex will begin after this short podcasting promotional.
Never listened to the roundtable? Here's what you're missing.
My favorite story about it, though, is the fact that they weren't intending to have Lauren Green back, and he just showed up. Apparently somebody told him they were doing new episodes of Battlestar Galactica, and he just showed up. And it's like, quick, we need to write him back into the script.
Oh, that's awesome. That's such an old man thing to do.
I hope he showed up drunk and said, I want to be Baltar. No, Lauren. Adama. Baltar!
The Roundtable, brought to you by Revolution SF. Tough love for sci-fi. Available from revolutionsf.com and iTunes.
Come ahead! Quiet on the set!
This is Michael Faulkner, and it's showtime, the January 24th, 2012 edition of the Weekly Podioplex, brought to you by the Chronic Rift. Kicking things off with the box office report, this weekend's rundown begins with number 10 and The Iron Lady, up 1 from 11th. In 9th place is Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows, down 4 from 5th. At number 8 is Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, down 5 from 3rd. In 7th place is Joyful Noise, down 3 from 4th. And in 6th place is new release Haywire, opening with $8.4 million. Compared to similar female-oriented action movies, it's a disappointment. Columbiana took $10.4 million, and Hannah took $12.4 million. Though on the bright side, it earned almost as much in one weekend as Domino did in its entire run, with $10.2 million. At 5th place, we have last week's runner-up, Beauty and the Beast 3D, dropping 3 spots in 2 weeks with $8.8 million and a new total of $33.6 million. At 4th place is Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, skyrocketing up 32 places into wide release with $10 million and a total of $10.7 million. In 3rd place is last week's winner, Contraband, smuggling in another $12 million for a total of $46 million. In 2nd is new release Red Tails, gaining $18.7 million on opening weekend. That beats comparable fighter pilot movies Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow with $15.6 million, Stealth with $13.3 million, and Flyboys at $6 million. This also marks distributor 20th Century Fox's best opening for a non-franchise title since last April's Rio. In 1st place this week is new release Underworld Awakening, debuting with $25.3 million. That's close to the second entry in the series, Underworld Evolution, with $26.9 million, and it's also higher than Underworld Rise of the Lycans at $20.8 million. Closing out this week's box office report, let's take a look at what was winning in the box office in years gone by. 5 years ago, in 2007, Epic Movie was the top film with $18.6 million. 10 years ago, 2002 saw Black Hawk Down at $17 million. 20 years ago, in 1992, it was The Hand That Rocks the Cradle with $8 million. 30 years ago, in 1982, On Golden Pond held at $3.9 million. And 40 years ago, in 1972, it was The Cowboys with $3.4 million. So what does January 27th have on the docket to knock down vampires, werewolves, and fighter pilots? It kicks off with The Grey, an action drama starring Liam Neeson, Dermot Mulroney, and Frank Grillo.
There's not a second goes by when I'm not thinking of you in some way. I want to see your face. Feel your hands in mine. For you. Take it now. Leave nothing in my heart. Fill me only with what I need to fight.
In Alaska, an oil drilling team struggles to survive after a plane crash strands them in the wild. Hunting the humans are a pack of wolves who see them as intruders. The Grey is rated R. Next on the list is One for the Money. a crime comedy starring Katherine Heigl, Jason O'Mara, and Daniel Sunjata.
I got some not so great news. I got let go from Macy's lingerie department.
Those bastards. Who wouldn't enjoy a nice thong?
Come on.
And I got maybe 10 minutes left with the car. What I need to get is a
Job.
husband. You guys got anything full-time, part-time? How comfortable are you with the lowlife? Sold lingerie for 3 years in Newark. You're good to go. Joe Morelli skipped out on bail. 50 grand, dead or alive. I can do this.
She wants to be a badass recovery agent.
I might like his better.
Stephanie started a new job.
Yeah, she's got a gun.
Put the gun away, Mom.
She belongs in a home.
Clarence Sampson. He got kicked out of 2 retirement homes for flashing his...
Hello there.
Wow. Hookers. They always know something.
If you want information from Lula, you gotta bring her a snack.
A snack.
I'm hungry.
You're out of your league. Gotta stay sharp, Plum.
Stephanie Plum. Vinny sent you to bring me in.
You're going down, bro.
You know what? You're sexy as hell.
Come on.
Good to see you, Cupcake.
You're an animal.
I was just shooting a gun. How hot is that? I'm gonna hail Morelli. Not nail Morelli, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He's worth 50 grand.
Didn't the two of you have a little...
It was high school, Grandma.
Freaking nuts. This is my car. Damn it. Oh, my God. Is that guy naked?
Fresh air is good for the boys.
Come on.
I want my car and I want it now. How does a person eat like you eat and look like you look?
Hey, why are you messing with my tasty cakes, huh?
No offense, but you can't bring me in without my cooperation.
Yeah? Can't wait to see what you got.
We got this good cop, bad cop thing going, except with hookers.
They blew up our car.
Excuse me, whose car?
Your car. You want it back?
You've been hit.
Thanks, Einstein.
Too bad. It's a pretty nice ass.
Unemployed and newly divorced Stephanie Plum lands a job at her cousin's bail bond business, where her first assignment puts her on the trail of a wanted local cop from a romantic past. One for the Money is rated PG-13. Entering wide release this week is We Need to Talk About Kevin, a drama starring Tilda Swinton, John C. Reilly, and Ezra Miller.
Every day it's a getting closer, going faster than a roller coaster. Love like yours will surely come my way. Hey. You just have to rock him a little bit.
Did you say mommy?
No.
Shouldn't he be talking by now?
I wouldn't worry about it.
Ball?
No.
He's just a boy. Just a sweet little boy.
Just because you're used to something doesn't mean you like it. You're used to me.
Great shot, Kevin. You're natural.
First he cries too much, then he's too quiet.
And you see it as some kind of personal vendetta?
You think I'm exaggerating?
Listen, buddy, it's easy to misunderstand when you hear it out of context. Why would I not know the context?
Franklin, pick up the phone.
He's just a sweet little...
Pick up the phone.
Just a sweet little boy. That's what boys do.
The mother of a teenage boy who went on a high school killing spree tries to deal with her grief and feelings of responsibility for her child's actions. We Need to Talk About Kevin is rated R. And last on the wide release slate is Man on a Ledge, a crime thriller starring Sam Worthington, Elizabeth Banks, and Jamie Bell.
Today is the day that everything changes. One way or another.
City are riveted. 20 stories up on the man on the ledge.
Nick Cassidy, an escaped convict.
The guy that stole the diamond off David Englander?
A $40 million diamond.
The whole world knows who you are now, Nick.
David Englander set me up.
You need to come in.
I'm ready to die. And it's important that you understand that.
Hey, Nick. Hey, you see me? It's your show, bro.
Let's make it rain. Okay, Joey, you know what to do. Don't worry. Everyone's looking at
me. Nick, we're in.
Help me understand what's going on.
How far would you go to take down a man that stole everything from you? The plan is to prove that I'm innocent. The Monarch Diamond never left his hands.
Nick, we got a problem here. Find them. This is my retrial.
Time is running out here, Nick.
I need you to believe me.
Gentlemen, you are go for takedown.
What if he didn't do it? What if he's innocent?
He's playing you.
This is my negotiation.
Nick, we need more time. Don't move. Stay where you are. You want me to trust you? Tell me it's done. I am an innocent man.
As a police psychologist works to talk down an ex-con who is threatening to jump from a Manhattan rooftop, the biggest diamond heist ever committed is in motion. Man on a Ledge is rated PG-13. The limited release slate kicks off with Albert Nobbs, a drama starring Glenn Close, Mia Wasikowska, and Aaron Johnston. Glenn Close plays a woman passing as a man in order to work and survive in 19th century Ireland. Some 30 years after donning men's clothing, she finds herself trapped in a prison of her own making. Albert Nobbs is rated R. Next is In Darkness, a drama from Poland, starring Robert Wiekiewicz, Benno Furman, and Agnieszka Grochowska. In Darkness is a dramatization of one man's rescue of Jewish refugees in the Nazi-occupied Polish city of Lwów. In Darkness is rated R. And the last new release on our slate is Declaration of War, a drama starring Valerie Donzelli, Jeremy Akheim, and Cesar Desai. A young couple wrestle with their child's cancer diagnosis. Declaration of War is not rated and opens in Los Angeles and New York City. Next up is January 24th's home entertainment slate, which kicks off with 50-50, a comedic drama starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Seth Rogen, and Anna Kendrick. Inspired by a true story, 50-50 is a comedy centered on a 27-year-old guy who learns of his cancer diagnosis and his subsequent struggle to beat the disease. 50-50 is rated R. Next on our list is Real Steel, a science fiction drama starring Hugh Jackman, Evangeline Lilly, and Dakota Goyo. Set in the near future where robot boxing is a top sport, a struggling promoter feels he's found a champion in a discarded robot. During his hopeful rise to the top, he discovers he has an 11-year-old son who wants to know his father. Real Steel is rated PG-13. Next up, we have Paranormal Activity 3, a found-footage horror film starring Chloe Sangari, Jessica Tyler Brown, and Christopher Nicholas Smith. In 1988, young sisters Katie and Kirsty befriend an invisible entity who lives in their home. Paranormal Activity 3 is rated PG-13. Next, we move on to The Whistleblower, a drama starring Rachel Weisz, Monica Bellucci, and Vanessa Redgrave. The Whistleblower is a film based on the experiences of Catherine Bolkovac, a Nebraska cop who served as a peacekeeper in post-war Bosnia and outed the UN for covering up the sex scandal. The Whistleblower is rated R. Next, we have a documentary that sounds like a B-movie, Revenge of the Electric Car, starring Tim Robbins, Danny DeVito, and Jon Favreau. Director Chris Payne takes his film crew behind the closed doors of Nissan, GM, and the Silicon Valley startup Tesla Motors to chronicle the story of the global resurgence of electric cars. Revenge of the Electric Car is rated PG-13. Next, we get musical with The Doors, Mr. Mojo Rising, The Story of L.A. Woman, a documentary starring the band The Doors. Mr. Mojo Rising, The Story of L.A. Woman is the story of the making of The Doors' last album with Jim Morrison, L.A. Woman. 2011 is the 40th anniversary of the film's release, and this program goes into detail as to how the album came about, its recording, and what was happening to the band at the time. The story is told through new interviews with the three surviving Doors, Ray Manzarek, Robbie Krieger, and John Densmore, plus contributions from Jack Holzman, founder of the label Elektra Records, Bill Siddons, who was their manager, Bruce Botnick, engineer and co-producer of the album, and others associated with the Doors at this time. Next, we have Restless, a drama starring Mia Wasikowska, Henry Hopper, and Rio Kase. Restless is a story of a terminally ill teenage girl who falls for a boy who likes to attend funerals, and their encounters with the ghost of a Japanese kamikaze pilot from World War II. Restless is rated PG-13. Next on our list, we go to Hell and Back Again, a documentary. What does it mean to lead men into war? What does it mean to come home? Hell and Back Again is a cinematically revolutionary film that asks and answers these questions with a power and intimacy no previous film about the conflict in Afghanistan has ever been able to achieve. It is a masterpiece in the cinema of war. Hell and Back Again is not rated. And last on the main home entertainment release list, we have The Woman, a crime drama starring Carly Baker, Shanna Berry, and Marcia Bennett. When a successful country lawyer captures and attempts to civilize the last remaining member of a violent clan that has roamed the northeast coast for decades, he puts the lives of a family in jeopardy. The Woman is rated R. Next on our list, we take a look at TV coming to DVD, and we start with Mannix 6th season, starring Mike Connors and Ward Wood. Considered one of the most violent television series of its era, Mannix follows the adventures of Los Angeles private eye Joe Mannix, who first worked for the detective agency known as the Intertect, which relied heavily on computers and a large network of operatives. Mannix is a hard-boiled and gritty detective who constantly defies rules and regulations and is able to take a flurry of fistfights, high-speed car chases, and bullet wounds in stride. In the same vein, we have Kojak, the Complete Booby Collection, starring Telly Savalas. The tough, lollipop-toting detective Theo Kojak is back in 8 gritty and unforgettable mystery movies from 1973 to 1990. Created by Emmy and Academy Award-winning writer Abby Mann, Kojak ran for 5 seasons on CBS from 1973 to 1978 and was later revisited as a series of TV movies. Along with these special broadcasts, this DVD set also features the previously unavailable pilot movie, The Marcus Nelson Murders, aired in 1973, which started it all and earned Abby Mann an Emmy for outstanding writing. This box set includes The Marcus Nelson Murders from 1973, The Belarus File from 1985, The Prince of Justice from 1987, Ariana from 1989, Fatal Flaw, also from 1989, and None So Blind, It's Always Something, and Flowers for Maddie from 1990. From the History Channel, the next entry in this list is Ancient Aliens Season 3, a documentary series. Another season of alien intervention belongs to history. Ancient Aliens continues to examine 75 million years of the most credible alien evidence here on Earth. Season 3 explores new directions, including sightings and phenomena from ancient times to the present. From the age of dinosaurs to ancient Egypt, from early cave drawings to continued mass sightings in the U.S., each episode gives historic depth to the questions, speculations, controversies, and first-hand accounts and grounded theories surrounding an age-old debate. Did intelligent life forms from outer space visit Earth thousands of years ago? Do they visit us now? The History Channel ignites the inquiry while exploring possible connections between UFO phenomenon and information decoded from ancient texts and artifacts.
The year is 1987, and NASA launches the last of America's deep space probes. In a freak mishap, Ranger 3 and its pilot, Captain William Buck Rogers, are blown out of their trajectory into an orbit which freezes his life support systems and returns Buck Rogers to Earth 500 years later.
And last on our list, we have Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, Season 1, starring Gil Gerard and Aaron Gray. Blast off to the 25th century with Buck Rogers, one of the most popular sci-fi heroes of all time. When 20th century astronaut William Buck Rogers is awakened, 500 years after a deep space disaster, to an Earth in a recovery from nuclear war, he must join Colonel Wilma Deering to lead the crew of the starship Searcher against a galaxy of evil from the past, present, and faraway future. Now with all 21 action-packed Season 1 episodes of the epic series the Associated Press called Razzle Dazzle Good Fun, and featuring phenomenal guest stars such as Jamie Lee Curtis and Julie Newmar, you can join these legendary intergalactic crime fighters for an adventure you won't forget. This week we also have one entry in web series coming to DVD. We have The Confession, starring John Hurt, Kiefer Sutherland, and Max Casella. The Confession is a unique story of redemption and exploration of good and evil featuring a hitman and a priest. Next up, we'll take a look at the new releases coming to Netflix streaming for the week of January 22nd to January 28th. On January 23rd, we have Atrocious, a found-footage-style horror film from 2010 starring Christian Valencia, Clara Morleda, and Chus Pereiro. The Quintanilla family was found dead, but recorded evidence was discovered by the police. A fictional production company acquires that confidential material and edits it into a horror movie. Atrocious is rated R. January 24th releases kick off with Caterpillar, a drama from 2010 starring Shinobu Terjima, Kaigo Kaisuya, and Imi Masuda. During the Second Sino-Japanese War in 1940, Lieutenant Kurokaro returns home as an honored and decorated soldier, but deprived of his arms and legs lost in battle in mainland China. All hopes, from the village men and women to close family members, turn to Shigeko, the lieutenant's wife. She must honor the emperor and the country in setting an example for all by fulfilling her duty and taking care of the god soldier. Caterpillar is not rated. Next we have Essential Killing, a war thriller from 2010 starring Vincent Gallo, Emmanuel Siegner, and Zach Cohen. Essential Killing is a thriller centered on the political prisoner who attempts to escape and is not rated. Next up is Grave Encounters, a horror film from 2011 starring Sean Rogerson, Juan Redinger, and Ashley Grisco. Lance Preston and the crew of Grave Encounters, a ghost hunting reality television show, are shooting an episode in the abandoned Collingwood Psychiatric Hospital, where unexplained phenomena have been reported for years. All in the name of good television, they voluntarily lock themselves inside the building for a night and begin paranormal investigations, capturing everything on camera. They quickly realize that the building is more than just haunted, it is alive, and has no intention of ever letting them leave. They find themselves lost in a labyrinth of endless hallways and corridors, terrorized by the ghosts of the former patients. They soon begin to question their own sanity, slipping deeper and deeper into the depths of madness, ultimately discovering the truth behind the hospital's dark past and taping what turns out to be their final episode. Grave Encounters is not rated. Next is The Beginning of the Great Revival, a historical drama from 2011 starring John Woo, Andy Lau, and Bing Bing Fan. Beginning of the Great Revival is a chronicle of the events that led to the founding of the Chinese Communist Party and is not rated. Next we have Beware the Gonzo, a comedy from 2010 starring Ezra Miller, Zoe Kravitz, and Jesse McCartney. Eddie Gonzo Gilman is starting a revolution. When the wild-eyed rebel journalist is ousted from his prep school's newspaper by its uber-popular editor, Eddie fronts an underground movement to give a voice to all the misfits, outcasts, and nerds. Soon the power of the press is in Eddie's hands, but will he use it wisely? Beware the Gonzo is not rated. And last, for January 24th, we have 3 titles I covered just a few minutes ago: The Confession, Hell and Back Again, and Revenge of the Electric Car. And the last new release for Netflix this week is on January 27th. It's The Colony Season 2, starring Michael Raines, John Valencia, and Becca Adams. What would you do in the wake of a global catastrophe? Even if you survived it, could you survive the aftermath? Season 2 of The Colony introduces viewers to a new group of volunteers with differing backgrounds, skills, and personalities to bear witness to how these colonists will survive and rebuild in a world without electricity, running water, government, or outside communication. Over the course of 10 episodes, the colonists, who include a construction foreman, teacher, carpenter, and auto mechanic, must work to utilize and strengthen their exploration, technology, and survival skills in ways they've never had to before. The Colony features ongoing commentary and input from experts in homeland security, engineering, psychology, and the medical community, with expertise and insight into what the future could look like after a biological disaster. Next up, we take a look at what is expiring on Netflix for the week of January 25th to January 31st. On January 25th, we will lose American Experience, Robert E. Lee, Feed the Fish from 2009, Made in Manhattan from 2002, Nature, Braving Iraq from 2010, Nature, Wolverine, Chasing the Phantom, and now on PBS, Fixing the Future. On January 26th, we lose Alone in the Dark 2 from 2008, Frontline, A Death in Tehran, Frontline, The Card Game, Godzilla and Mothra, Battle for Earth from 1992, Madigan from 1968, Michael Jackson, Life of a Superstar, The River from 1984, and Send Me No Flowers from 1964. January 27th takes 3 titles: Home from 2008, In the Mood from 1987, and The Missing Links from 2008. January 29th takes Soldier from 1998. January 30th takes Dracula from 1931, Farscape Season 4, and Mortal Kombat the Movie from 1995. Okay, buckle in, gang, because January 31st has a lot of expiring titles, including a metric ton of the BBC's offerings. The list starts with 100 Rifles from 1969 and moves on to 11 Harrow House from 1974, Accent on Love from 1941, The Adventures of Haji Baba from 1954, the All Creatures Great and Small series, Allosaurus, a Walking with Dinosaurs special from 2001, Around the World in 80 Days from 1989, Auschwitz, Inside the Nazi State, Before the Dinosaurs, Walking with Monsters from 2005, the Big Cat Diary series, A Bit of Fry and Laurie series, Bleak House, both versions from 1985 and 2005, the Blue Planet Seas of Life series, The Buccaneers from 1995, Carmen Jones from 1954, the Catherine Tate Show series, Chased by Dinosaurs, 3 Walking with Dinosaurs Adventures from 2003, Colosseum, a Gladiator story, the UK version of the Coupling series, Daniel Deronda, David Attenborough, Wildlife Specials, Deadfall from 1968, pretty much everything from Doctor Who. I'll break this down. It's Carnival of Monsters from 1973, Horror of Fang Rock from 1977, Pyramids of Mars from 1975, Seasons 1 through 4 of the recent series, those will be the Eccleston and Tennant years, Spearhead from Space from 1970, The Androids of Terra from 1978, The Ark in Space from 1975, The Aztecs from 1964, The Caves of Androzani from 1984, The City of Death from 1979, The Curse of Fenric from 1989, The End of Time from 2009, The Green Death from 1973, The Leisure Hive from 1980, The Mind Robber from 1968, The Pirate Planet from 1978, The Power of Kroll from 1978, The Rebos Operation, also from 1978, The Three Doctors from 1972, The Visitation from 1982, and The Waters of Mars from 2009. Next we lose Elizabeth R. from 1971, Faulty Towers, the complete set, Gavin and Stacey Season 1, The Grapes of Wrath from 1940, The Guardian from 1990, Harry and Tonto from 1974, He Knew He Was Right from 2004, Hiroshima, BBC History of World War II, the Hotel Babylon series, the House of Cards trilogy, including House of Cards from 1990, To Play the King from 1993, and The Final Cut from 1995, Hugo and the Dragon from 2001, the Hyperdrive series, the Inspector Lindley Mysteries series, Invasion Earth from 1998, Jane Eyre from 1983, Jekyll from 2007, Keeping Up Appearances, The League of Gentlemen Christmas Special, The Legend of Hell House, The Life of Birds, The Life of Mammals, the Little Britain series, the MI5 series, Michael Palin's series of films Himalaya, New York, and Sahara, Middlemarch from 1994, the Miss Marple collections, the Mistresses series, the Monarch of the Glen series, Mr. Hobbs Takes a Vacation from 1962, the Mrs. Bradley's Mysteries, Speedy Death from 1999, Naked Lunch from 1991, North and South from 2004, Occupation from 2009, the UK version of The Office, The Planets from 1999, Pompeii the Last Day, Pride and Prejudice from 1980, the Primeval series, the Red Dwarf series, the Robin Hood series from the late 2000s, the Saxondale series, the Scarlet Pimpernel from 1999, the Secret Garden from 1975, the State Within, the Survivors series, Tin Pan Alley from 1940, the Top Gear series, the Torchwood series, including Children of Earth, Under the Greenwood Tree from 2005, Waiting for God series from 1990, the Waking the Dead series, Walking with Cavemen from 2003, Walking with Dinosaurs from 1999, Walking with Prehistoric Beasts from 2001, The Way We Live Now from 2001, Wild China from 2008, Wives and Daughters from 1999, Yellowstone Battle for Life, and Zoom In, Stories Behind the 2007 Gotham Awards. That is a long list. Now, unlike DVDs, as you know, Netflix streaming titles are licensed for a period of time, and these titles will come and go depending on the contract length. If Netflix is able to renew those contracts, these titles will return, and quite honestly, it would be crazy for them not to renew the contract given the recent streaming debut for Netflix in the UK and Ireland, and the recent push from the BBC to strengthen ties with American audiences. We won't know for certain until those titles reappear in the queue. Last but not least, in the home entertainment section, we take a look at Blu-rays from the past. Our list kicks off with Rebecca, a romantic drama from 1940 starring Laurence Olivier, Joan Fontaine, and George Sanders. In a film directed by Alfred Hitchcock, when a naive young woman marries a rich widower and settles into his gigantic mansion, she finds the memory of the first wife maintaining a grip on her husband and the servants. Rebecca is rated approved by the Motion Picture Association of America in 1940. Next on the list is Notorious, a film noir thriller by Alfred Hitchcock from 1946, starring Cary Grant, Ingrid Bergman, and Claude Rains. A woman is asked to spy on a group of Nazi friends in South America. How far will she have to go to ingratiate herself with them? Notorious was rated approved by the Motion Picture Association of America in 1946. The next title is the last of three this week coming from the Alfred Hitchcock files. That's Spellbound, a film noir mystery from 1945, starring Ingrid Bergman, Gregory Peck, and Michael Chekhov. A female psychiatrist protects the identity of an amnesia patient accused of murder while attempting to recover his memory. Spellbound is also rated approved by the Motion Picture Association of America, this time from 1945. Next on our list is an entry in the Criterion Collection. We have Godzilla, a science fiction drama from 1954 starring Takashi Shimura, Akihiko Harada, and Akira Takarada. Known in Japan as Gojira, this is a classic tale of American nuclear weapons testing resulting in the creation of a seemingly unstoppable dinosaur beast. Godzilla is not rated. Next up is Wings, a romantic war drama from 1927 starring Clara Bow, Charles Buddy Rogers, and Richard Arian. Two young men, one rich and one middle class, who are in love with the same woman, become fighter pilots in World War I. Wings is not rated. Next up is Annie Hall, a comedic drama from 1977 starring Woody Allen, Diane Keaton, and Tony Roberts. Neurotic New York comedian Alvy Singer falls in love with the ditzy Annie Hall. Annie Hall is rated PG. Next up is Manhattan, a comedic drama from 1979 starring Woody Allen, Diane Keaton, and Mariel Hemingway. A divorced New Yorker currently dating a high schooler brings himself to look for love in the mistress of his best friend instead. Manhattan is rated R. Next we have Stripes, the extended cut, a war comedy from 1981 starring Bill Murray, John Candy, and Harold Ramis. Two friends who are dissatisfied with their jobs decide to join the army for a bit of fun. Stripes is rated R. Next on our list is See No Evil, Hear No Evil, a crime comedy from 1989 starring Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder, and Joan Severance. Dave is deaf, and Wally is blind. They witness a murder, but it was Dave who was looking at her, and Wally who was listening. See No Evil, Hear No Evil is rated R. Next we have Stir Crazy, a crime comedy from 1980 starring Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor, and George Stanford Brown. Skip and Harry are framed for a bank robbery and end up in the same Western prison. The two Eastern boys are having difficulty adjusting to the new life until the warden finds that Skip has a natural talent for riding broncos with the inter-prison rodeo coming up. Stir Crazy is rated R. Next on our list is Fascination, a horror film from 1979 starring Frank Amai, Bridget LaHaye, and Jean-Marie Lemaire. This erotic horror film, set in 1916, tells the story of a thief who seeks refuge in a castle owned by two women, Eva and Elizabeth. The women are seductive and teasing, but turn out to be part of a vampire cult of blood-drinking aristocrats. Fascination is not rated. And last on our list is The Toy, a comedy from 1982 starring Richard Pryor, Jackie Gleason, and Ned Beatty. An underemployed reporter finds himself literally purchased as a toy for a rich, spoiled brat. The Toy is rated PG and is available both on DVD and Blu-ray this Tuesday. Let's wrap this up with the quick flicks. It seems that there may be some more fallout for Twilight fans due to the Lionsgate purchase of Summit Entertainment. There's a possibility that Netflix and Redbox might, and I emphasize might, have access to the financially successful Twilight movies. Both movie rental companies have distribution contracts with Lionsgate. The Redbox terms are unknown, but Netflix has an indirect deal with Lionsgate via Epix, which allows streaming access to a large portion of Lionsgate's content library. Most importantly for Twilight fans in that regard, the streaming rights for Epix are exclusive, which means that the Twilight series may come available to Netflix. While discussing his new film Red Tails with the New York Times, George Lucas dropped a bombshell on fans with two simple words: I'm retiring. The filmmaker and creator of the Star Wars juggernaut has decided to devote the rest of his life to personal films, movies that are small in scope, esoteric in nature, and screened mostly in art houses. Lucas is no stranger to this format, since he made these type of films in the 1960s while he was a student at the USC Film School. He was also very careful to leave an out clause for a fifth Indiana Jones film. But for now, Red Tails is his last Hollywood blockbuster. Part of his decision to leave the Hollywood scene? Fanboys. I think there are a lot more important things in the world than fuse with fanboys, Lucas told the New York Times. He explained that his first major films, THX 1138 and American Graffiti, were forcibly re-edited by the studios, which he likened to someone keying his car or harming his children. Since 1997, when the Star Wars Special Editions came out, he has also been attacked by the very fans who loved his original trilogy. Between the constant negativity of the fans, some of which are ironically re-editing the Star Wars movies on the internet, and the push from Hollywood to make their version of a blockbuster, Lucas has decided that enough is enough. Why would I make more, Lucas said, when everybody yells at you all the time and says what a terrible person you are? In the interview, Lucas also took credit for the nuke at the fridge scene in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. When the New York Times reporter told Lucas that Steven Spielberg took the blame for that scene, Lucas replied, "It's not true. He's trying to protect me." Now, on a personal note, while the kid in me did enjoy the later Indy and Star Wars movies, I definitely feel that Lucas's best work was in the early part of his career. That said, I will defend his decision to change his movies as he sees fit. I may not like the changes, but as he owns the copyright, I still believe the franchise is his to do with as he pleases. If I had the desire to watch the original versions, I've purchased them on DVD, and I have also refused to purchase the Blu-rays to this day. Above all else, I believe that Hollywood has lost a pioneer with Lucas's retirement. Love him or hate him, George Lucas made a lot of what we see on the screen today possible with his vision and innovative spirit. The link to the entire article from the New York Times will be cited in the show notes. If you would like to discuss anything you heard on this week's edition, please take a moment to get in touch. You can surf on over to chronicgriff.com and leave a note in the forums. You can leave a voicemail at 888-866-9010 or write to John at chronicgriff.com. You can follow us on Tumblr, tweet us on Twitter, check into the network on GetGlue, watch the classics on Funny or Die, and leave us a review on iTunes. The Chronic Grift is now on Stitcher Radio, and you can also find the Weekly Podioplex and the Chronic Grift on Facebook and Google+. If you decide to pick up any of this week's new releases, why not do it through our Amazon store? You get the newest entertainment at Amazon's low prices and high-quality service, and each purchase you make through the store supports the Chronic Grift. Look for the link in our show notes. The Weekly Podioplex is a collaboration of Creative Criticality and Lucky Shot Productions and is produced by John S. Drew. This is Michael Faulkner. Thanks for listening. I'll see you at the theater.
Far beyond this world I've known, far beyond my time. What kind of world am I going to find? Will it be real or just all in my mind? What am I? Who am I? What will I be? Where am I going? And what will I